Thanks for joining us tonight on another episode of The Racing Report. My name is Rob Peeters, and I am your host for another fabulous half hour where we are going to talk all things motorsports, because we have some big breaking news to get to this week and in the next 30 minutes as well. The NASCAR lawsuit is over. The two sides, NASCAR and 2311 and Front Row Motorsports, have agreed to settle the lawsuit. They have agreed to some settlement terms, and we'll break all of that down for you here within the next half hour. And also, there's lots of NASCAR silly season news to get to. There's lots of happenings in the world of Formula One, who has a new World Drivers' Champion that we will talk much about in the next half hour, like I already said. And also, IndyCar's got some news, Supercars got some news. Everything in the world of motorsport has some sort of news, even though the majority of racing seasons are now concluded. But hey, that just means we're looking forward to the 2026 racing season. So before we go ahead and get right on into the news, be sure, if you like this show, to go ahead and give me a follow on social media. You can do so by looking up at rpeeters33. That's RPEETERS 33. And that helps me know that you guys enjoy the show, that you guys like it, that you want to see more, or you just want to know and keep up with the news and notes in the world of motorsports. And also be sure to have the WTHR Plus app installed on your smart TV so you get brand new episodes of the Racing Report each and every week. Again, we're going to be taking a little bit of a holiday break here now that the NASCAR lawsuit, as I said earlier, has settled. But that doesn't mean that the Racing Report is done for 2025 or even 2026 for that matter. We'll be back here shortly in a couple of weeks' time to break down all the news and notes that you might have missed over the holiday weekend. So let's go ahead and jump right on into the news and notes of Formula One, because there's quite a bit to get to. First and foremost, we'll talk about the first American Formula One team that's got some news out of it. Not Cadillac, but Haas. Haas F1 team has announced that MoneyGram is no longer the team's title sponsor, because the team will now be known as TGR Haas F1 team after expanding its agreement with Toyota and Toyota Gazoo Racing. So this is very important to note. Of course, remember, Toyota is not supplying them any engines or really much technical support. I say much, but they have expanded their sponsorship of the team, so that's very good news for Haas, getting some much needed money and stability flushed into that team. So that's good news there. But let's go ahead and move on into the next piece, and that is a big shakeup in the world of Red Bull. Red Bull Motorsports advisor Dr. Helmut Marko has announced he will leave the team at the end of the year. Marko is 82. He's been with the team basically since its inception, and this is the end of an era, as Red Bull has announced that this is the end for Dr. Helmut Marko. He's been the main guy who's recruited so many young junior drivers to Red Bull's portfolio and their driver academy, but now it seems like the time is ending for Helmut Marko as their motorsports advisor. Some more Formula One news here that we'll get into. ESPN, who just broadcast its last Formula One race for the foreseeable future. Remember, we've talked about a couple of weeks ago that the rights, or not a couple of weeks ago, more like a couple of months ago, that the rights to Formula One broadcasting in the United States are moving to Apple TV, and they will become streaming only beginning in 2026. So if you want to watch any kind of Formula One race next season, you will need to get Apple TV. But it will be essentially just like F1 TV with all of the different onboards, different feeds. I would hope maybe we'll see the F1 TV's library be integrated into Apple TV, so at least we could still watch some of those older races. I know my F1 TV subscription just expired not long ago, I believe this week. And one of the things I'm going to miss is being able to go back and watch a lot of those classic F1 races from my childhood, from when I was a kid, especially back in the early 2000s. I have a lot of really fun memories watching some of those races, so it's kind of a bummer to not have access to those on my phone anymore, but we'll see what Apple TV brings to the table. But the big news behind that is not anything to do with Apple TV, but instead ESPN reporting that it has averaged 1.3 million viewers over all of its F1 races in 2025, which tops the previous record of 1.21 million viewers that was set in 2022. Now, overall, ESPN says since 2018, when the network began broadcasting Formula One, ratings have increased 135%, which is an insane and staggering number. And it begs the question, will Formula One in the United States be able to carry that momentum from over-the-air / cable television into the streaming era, where you might get a lot more younger viewers, but your overall broadness of the reach is kind of going down? That'll be the interesting thing to see, but definitely a huge increase for ESPN. Definitely Formula One being on ESPN was very beneficial to all parties. All parties involved, but now with that partnership coming to an end, we'll just have to wait and see what Apple TV says for next season, and I highly doubt we'll get to see any of those actual ratings numbers going forward, as I don't believe streamers typically report them all that much because they can be very fluctuating. Meanwhile, here's an update to a story that we covered last week. Adrian Sutil's lawyer has released a statement following reports that the German ex-Formula One driver had been arrested on, quote, aggravated joint fraud and joint embezzlement charges. Now, I'm going to read to you here from the lawyer's statement, and it says, in part, this is just in part, this is not the full lawyer's statement. Motorsport.com actually has that posted on their website right now if you'd like to go and read the full thing. But here's a good portion of the statement that I think summarizes as best what Adrian Sutil and his legal team are saying happened. So I'll read here again, quote, the allegations concern property-related offenses in relation to Sutil's international business activities. Now, Adrian Sutil is currently in pretrial detention in Germany, so we have that confirmed. But this is primarily due to the fact that Mr. Sutil does not have a residence in Germany, but only in Monaco. Now, Adrian Sutil wishes to make it clear that he rejects the accusations brought against him. From his perspective, no financial damage has been caused to third parties to date, end quote. Now, again, that is just part of the statement. If you'd like to read the entire statement, that can be found on motorsport.com's website. But as of right now, that is our quick little update to the news of Adrian Sutil's arrest that we brought you last week here on the Racing Report. But let's go ahead and finish up the Formula One news of the week and talk about Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, after a completely disastrous first season with Ferrari that saw him fail to score a podium for the first time in his F1 career, dating all the way back to his rookie season in 2007. That kind of caused a lot of people to wonder, what's his future now? Is he going to retire soon? Might this be the end of the road for Hamilton? Well, no, he's shutting down those rumors, saying that he still has a dream. He still has the dream alive to continue racing in Formula One, and not just continue racing in Formula One, but bring wins and championships to Ferrari. That is ultimately his goal. So as of right now, no chance seeing Lewis Hamilton retire, at least in the near future, but we'll see if he's able to bring championships and wins, let alone race wins, to Ferrari in 2026. We'll have to see. Who knows what those new regulations will bring coming up here at the start of next year. Let's go ahead now and transition into the world of IndyCar, because we do have some substantial news to bring you this week. First and foremost, IndyCar has announced on December 11th that it has established an independent officiating board for 2026. Now, this was something that Doug Bowles discussed earlier this year after the controversy that went down with the Penske attenuators at the Indianapolis 500 qualifying. So this is a big step in the right direction for IndyCar. Now, what's important to note is this board will report to a new nonprofit entity known as IndyCar Officiating Inc., which was created by Penske Entertainment. Now, it will feature two members in Ray Evernham, yes, that same Ray Evernham, championship-winning crew chief with Jeff Gordon, founder of Evernham Motorsports, at one point was very heavily involved with the SRX series. He will be on that independent officiating board for IndyCar, as well as longtime Ford executive Raj Nair. They were both chosen by IndyCar series team owners via a vote conducted by Penske Entertainment. So the IndyCar team members were given a ballot, and they all decided, hey, we want Ray Evernham and Raj Nair to be on that independent officiating board, so that's what their choice. And then the third independent officiating board member will be Ronan Morgan, and he's going to be supplied by the FIA. And he has overseen Formula One, WEC, various other FIA-sanctioned racing series. And this also starts a new and important partnership between IndyCar and the FIA that leads us into our next news point here, is that also the FIA has changed its allotment of super license points for IndyCar drivers. Now, the IndyCar champion and runner-up will still receive 40 and 30 points respectively toward an F1 super license, but third place will now receive 25 points, which is up from the previous 20 points that they used to receive. Now, fourth place is going from 10 points to 20 points, so if you finish 10th in the IndyCar championship, you used to get 10 points toward an F1 super license, now you get 20. Fifth goes from 8 to 15. Sixth goes from 6 points to 10. Seventh goes from 4 points to 8. Eighth goes from 3 points to 6, while ninth goes from 2 points to 3. 10th in the IndyCar championship will still only allot you 1 point in the for an F1 super license. So again, some big differences there, and of course, it happens on the heels of Colton Herta going to Formula 2 in order to amass these super license points. But with this change, it's kind of all for naught, but hey, it's still happening. He's participating in the Young Drivers Test right now in Abu Dhabi for his team High Tech, which he will debut for next season during the Formula 2 campaign. Now, the final news in the world of IndyCar, and it's a little bit muddy, so we're going to try and get through it and explain it as best we can. But Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing has filed a lawsuit in Marion County, Indiana, which, if you're not familiar, is the county where Indianapolis is located, against companies associated with 5-Hour Energy. Now, in this lawsuit, it appears that RLL is claiming the companies, not 5-Hour Energy themselves, but companies associated with 5-Hour Energy, did not fulfill part of their agreement, but due to the redactions in the court documents, at least according to Racer and Motorsport.com, it is difficult to determine what exactly that agreement was. It seems like it has to do something with a series of channels or commercials, something like that, in which money was expected to be paid for commercials, and that didn't happen. Again, this is all very kind of wishy-washy. We don't really know a lot that's going on, and I don't really want to say too much that might be wrong. I want to make sure that we have this all buttoned up, but unfortunately, it's just the redactions make it kind of difficult to really figure out what exactly the lawsuit it is over. But as it is with everything, it all boils down to one thing, and that's money. So, take that with what you will. We have to take our first little break here, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we are going to discuss the news and notes in the world of supercars, some big stuff coming out from down under, and then we're going to get you through the main points that you need to know as the NASCAR antitrust lawsuit has now been settled. So don't go anywhere. We will be back very shortly with more Racing Report coming up after this. And welcome back to the Racing Report. Thanks so much again for sticking with us through that commercial break. Let's waste zero time here, and we get into the Supercars news of the week. First and foremost, as we talked about last week, the Supercars finals format is a little bit controversial, and as a result of that, the series has announced that it will make, quote, a few small tweaks to the format. Now, here's what Speed Cafe has all but confirmed are some of the proposed tweaks, and one of which would be a bonus point structure that would be applied ahead of the grand final. So something likely in there to prevent a situation that happened to Brock Feeney, maybe get him a bit more bonus points going through the grand final. So hopefully if an incident like what we saw in Adelaide, in which Brock Feeney is spun on the first lap, goes all the way to the back, then has engine problems, and his entire season, which up until that point was essentially flawless, is thrown off and he loses the championship. Supercars is trying to maybe mediate that and allot some up the bonus points that are awarded to hopefully fix that. And another change would allow all eliminated drivers to revert back to the points that they earned prior to the points reset. Now, this is huge because I don't know how many people really looked at the point standings in Supercars, but actually, once the eliminations were done, the only way anybody could move up or down in the standings is if you were with the same people that were eliminated from you. So let's say you were eliminated during the first round. The highest you could potentially get would be 8th place in the championship, because the 5th, 6th, and 7th place drivers would have their points reset and then not reset to the previous amount. So that's very different from how NASCAR does it, where those points do reset back to where they were before elimination. So Supercars is changing that so that now, hey, a driver could still maybe get eliminated but finish as high as 5th in the championship if they have an incredible final series outside, or maybe grand final, who knows. But that's some of the changes that are being proposed right now to the Supercars finals format. There are a couple more, but they're a little bit more wishy-washy, may or may not get passed. But if they do get passed, we'll be sure to bring you updates here on the Racing Report. So anyway, the final piece of Supercars news, and this is a big one, and it talks about the reigning championship team. So Chaz Mostert's team, Walkinshaw Andretti United, will rebrand as Walkinshaw TWG Racing beginning February 3rd, as Zach Brown, yes, that same Zach Brown of McLaren, exits team ownership, and the Andretti name is phased out in favor of the TWG Global name. So that's essentially what we've already known. They were going to TWG Global, which we talked about, took over the Michael Andretti's team, the Andretti Autosport Andretti Global team in the last year, phasing out that Andretti name in favor of TWG, and this is more proof of that. So just be ready. It's still Walkinshaw, but it's Walkinshaw TWG Racing, not Andretti United anymore. So, all right. That is it. Are you guys all ready for the NASCAR section of the show? Because, boy, do we have a lot. Not just in the lawsuit news, but then also in silly season news. So you're going to want to keep it here for the next couple minutes. But as I mentioned at the top of the show and throughout the show as well, NASCAR has indeed reached a settlement with 23XI and Front Row Motorsports on the 9th day of litigation in the team's antitrust lawsuit. Now, minimal deals have been released regarding minimal details have been released regarding what some of the settlement agreements were, but one thing that we do know specifically is that both NASCAR and the teams confirmed that they have come to an agreement to allow for evergreen charters, or permanent charters, which is the main thing these teams were trying to fight for. So overall, this is a huge win for the teams. NASCAR finally, and honestly, it was probably for the best. As I had been saying, even in the weeks leading up to this trial, the more and more documents that were getting unsealed, the more and more things that were coming out. Like I said, even the things the jury didn't see, like text messages about Richard Childress. Again, the jury did not see those. But even then, the line of questioning from Jeffrey Kessler to NASCAR executives and NASCAR's witnesses, it did not go very well for NASCAR. At least that's what the reporters that were on the inside are saying. The consensus very much was that NASCAR was unlikely to win this trial. And so it seems like a a settlement was definitely looming, and it's great to see one has finally been reached. And in addition to that, 23XI and Front Row Motorsports will have all 6 of their charters restored. Remember, they lost the preliminary injunction midway through earlier this year that said that they could compete as chartered teams, and so they had basically been competing the latter half of the season, I believe since the Brickyard 400, as unchartered teams. So it's big. It's big news. It's big news in the world of NASCAR. It symbolizes a huge change to the NASCAR's primary structure when it comes to dealing with the teams. Now, a lot of this is still kind of, we'll see. Some reporters are going to talk with people on the inside who can now speak freely about the details of the trial, and hopefully we'll get some more details in the coming days or weeks about really what went down and what kind of changes will be made. But number one, we have to just say it's over. The jury can go home before the holidays. The reporters can go home from the holidays. Everybody involved in the lawsuit, the lawyers, the teams, everybody, the witnesses, the judge, everybody can go home before the holidays and hopefully just kick back and relax and not have to worry about all of this that's been stressing just about everybody in NASCAR out for the last year. And so that's great. Now, one thing that I do want to talk about real quick is Wednesday night, we got a very interesting news drop in that Johnny Morris, the CEO of Bass Pro Shops, who, if you are familiar with NASCAR in any fashion, you know just how involved Bass Pro Shops has been in the sport. Well, Johnny Morris was not too happy with how the NASCAR executives spoke of Richard Childress. Now, remember, he's had a relationship with Richard Childress going back decades. Dale Earnhardt was sponsored by him. Austin Dillon, Ty Dillon, they've been sponsored by Bass Pro Shops. Just a very substantial relationship there between Johnny Morris and Richard Childress. And so Johnny Morris was not exactly too happy to see these text messages come out about his very close friend and business partner, Richard Childress. So I don't necessarily think that statement or message or whatever you want to call it pushed NASCAR towards the settlement. I think this was brewing, but it definitely came at a very opportune time to really kind of just push everybody in the idea that, yeah, we should probably settle this. And again, I think they should have settled it long ago, long before any of this came out, because I do think the damage to NASCAR from a public perception point of view has been massive. And so it's now going to be up to them to try and rebuild that trust and rebuild a lot of that clout, I guess you want to say. Clout is the right word, with fans, to try and show them that, yeah, and teams as well, that they're not what the court, the trial or the court documents portray them as, and that's going to be the first step, which I think is going to be a little bit difficult for them to do. But hey, you know, I'm a simple person. You want my opinion on this? You give me a full season points championship and all this goes away. I'm a simple person. I can be pleased pretty easily, but I don't think that's going to happen. But hey, who knows? We probably won't know until January. And when we do know what the points championship is for next season, hopefully it's one that pleases as many people as possible. Because I know it's not going to please everybody, but hopefully it pleases a majority of people. All right, that was a lot to go through. Again, lots more details on there. I want to say real quick before I move into some of the silly season news in NASCAR. Huge shout out to every single journalist that went to all 9 days of litigation during this trial, and all of them who not only paid money out of pocket to get these court documents, which a lot of them you do have to pay for access to, and it's not just exclusive to lawsuits like NASCAR, but also criminal lawsuits, civil lawsuits, all that stuff. Some of the times, depending on what it is, you got to pay for it, for access to it. And so a lot of all those reporters, Bob Pockrass, Jeff Gluck, Jordan Bianchi, Kelly Crandall, Claire B. Lang was there. If you listen to her on Sirius XM, she was there covering the trial. Front Stretch had a trio of people there that were doing a great job. John Newby was doing a great job. Matt Weaver was doing an excellent job with his breakdowns, every single one. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. I apologize to you. I didn't mean to miss you, but you did a great job in general. So thank all of those NASCAR reporters who were allowed for us to understand and break down what was going on during this trial and follow it as well as we were able to. So again, just glad that this whole thing is behind us. Let's talk about silly season news now. First and foremost, Rick Ware Racing has announced it is moving to Chevrolet from Ford in 2026 and forming a technical alliance with Richard Childress Racing. Now, in the press release announcing this, Rick Ware Racing called it a, quote, multi-year partnership, and that the team will use ECR engines beginning in 2026. Now, important to note that they are still leasing a charter from RFK Racing, or excuse me, leasing a charter to RFK Racing, I should say, and they are operating out of RFK's shops, but that doesn't necessarily affect anything. This shouldn't affect anything like that. So, but news there for Rick Ware Racing. Cody Ware is going to drive a Chevrolet beginning next season. Meanwhile, NASCAR has announced that it is adding 50 laps to North Wilkesboro's points race return coming up here in July. The race will now be called the Window World 450 and will feature 450 laps as opposed to the previous 400. Now into, like I said, the silly season news of the week. A lot of it. Let's go through it as quickly as we can so we can get to our next and final break. Nick Sanchez has announced, shockingly, that he will not be returning to Big Machine Racing in 2026. He said that he was notified last weekend that he will not be in the 48 Chevrolet for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series next season. So far, no word on where Sanchez will land next year or any word on who will replace him in the 48 car for next season. We'll definitely keep you updated on that as soon as we know who will be driving for that team next season. Meanwhile, sticking in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, LeVar Scott will run full-time for Alpha Prime Racing in 2026, and he will be driving the number 44, partnering alongside Brennan Poole in the number 44. Excuse me. LeVar Scott is in the 45, Poole is in the 44. And this is big to note as well because Alpha Prime, which had been running 3 cars last season with Parker Retzlaff, they've now announced that they are downscaling to 2 full-time cars, but they will still keep a part-time car as a third entry going forward, just with a rotating a number of drivers. Viking Motorsports will expand to 2 cars next season, so we already knew that they had announced Parker Retzlaff was going to drive the number 99 for them, but now we know that Anthony Alfredo will drive the number 96 for the team beginning in 2026, so some good news there. Meanwhile, Raja Carruth was confirmed to be driving 10 races with Jordan Anderson Racing next season. Now this brings him up to full-time status because he was running the majority of races. He is scheduled to run the majority of races in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series in 2026 with Junior Motorsports in their number 88 car, but obviously Connor Zilisch will be driving that car for a handful of races, and in the races that Zilisch is in that car, Raja Carruth will be driving for Jordan Anderson Racing. So Raja still running full-time in addition to LeVar Scott. That's a big deal to have 2 full-time black drivers in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. That's a big deal for NASCAR and for all of the NASCAR Drive to Diversity efforts that they have been giving for the past several years to get to a point where this is something that happens. So just overall great news. And to be honest with you too, to all the detractors out there who might try and say, oh, you're bringing up race, blah, blah, blah. I'm not. It's a big deal to have something like this, to have 2 black drivers be full-time in NASCAR, and for both of them to get to this point on merit alone. Obviously, we know Raja and LeVar Scott are very talented in themselves, so it's great to see them get this opportunity, and it's just great for all the black fans that are out there right now watching NASCAR to say, we have representation now, and that is huge because obviously they've already had it with Bubba Wallace, but to have more and more seeming every year, it's a great thing. So Moving on now, Austin Green, the son of David Green, I learned that, will drive full-time in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series in the number 87 for Peterson Motorsports, which is a team he's driven for in Trans Am before. In the Truck Series, Caden Honeycutt will indeed replace Corey Heim in the number 11 Tricon Garage Toyota beginning next season. This, again, remember, he'd signed this deal, and as soon as Nice Motorsports found out, they kicked him to the curb. Well, now he's getting the last laugh because he's inheriting the championship-winning truck from last season. And again, he also made a Final Four or Championship 4 run with in driving in relief of Stuart Friesen for Halmar Friesen Motorsports last year. Stuart Friesen, by the way, is up and walking after that terrifying accident in a dirt late model several months ago that kept him out of the remainder of the Truck Series season. So just overall good news on that front. Meanwhile, Frankie Muniz, everybody's favorite actor turned driver, will once again run full-time in the Truck Series for Team Rayum. Rayum Brothers Racing has now been renamed Team Rayum for 2026, and he will again return to pilot the number 33 Chevrolet. Finally, Chris Wright will drive full-time for McAnally Hilgeman Racing in the number 81 truck beginning in 2026. So that was a quick crash course on everything that happened this past week in NASCAR. Let's go ahead and take our final break of the show, and when we come back, we'll recap the Formula One World Championship, we'll recap the first Formula E race of the year, and we'll get you all set up for any kind of races that are going on over the next couple of months. So don't go anywhere. You are watching The Racing Report. And welcome back to The Racing Report. Thanks so much for sticking with us through that break. Let's go ahead and get you caught up on the Formula One World Champion, Lando Norris. He has survived. All he had to do was finish third in the event that Max Verstappen won the race, which, by the way, he did. But let me tell you something. Lando Norris drove a race that I have not seen him drive all season, and he earned this championship because he did everything he needed to do and then some in order to get him into position to clinch his first World Drivers' Championship. And honestly, what sold it for me was just how aggressive he was after his first pit stop, going after everybody that he could, not wasting any time, making sure that he was going to finish third or better in this championship if it killed him. And good gracious, thankfully it didn't do that. He did it. Verstappen wasn't even mad. He can't even be mad at that. He did everything he needed to do, but so did Norris. And it came down to a thrilling championship in Abu Dhabi. Honestly, thankfully, it wasn't 2021 level of nerves, but the start of the race definitely had me on the edge there a little bit, wondering what would happen, but it was overall a very fun ride. Also, it was the last time we'll ever see DRS open on the back of those cars. That is definitely going to be something to get used to as the series moves to the manual override mode next season, which is kind of like DRS. You'll still have to be within about a second of a driver in front in order to use it, but it is substantially different than what we're used to and what we have been used to. By the way, Kimi Antonelli was the final driver to press the DRS button, while Jenson Button will always be known as the first driver to press the DRS button. I believe that's his long middle name now. Jenson was the first driver in F1 history to press the DRS button. Little joke for you there at the end of the show. Why not? And then in Sao Paulo, we had the Formula E season kick off, and it was an interesting, crazy race from the beginning, but Jake Dennis held on in a green-white checker type situation that was set up following a red flag when Pepe Marti, a rookie in the series, took a wild flipping ride after launching over the back of, I believe, Jean-Eric Verne, and flipping several times down a straightaway. And now this apparently was due because he couldn't get the car slowed down when the safety car was deployed. He came out of a turn, saw the yellow light start flash, couldn't get the car slowed down, and ramped up and over at least two other cars. Thankfully, he was not injured. The race was red flagged for quite some time, but eventually it did restart with, like I said, Jake Dennis holding on to score the victory. And that is it so far, right now, for the races, major races, I should say, in 2025. We now look ahead to 2026 with the next Formula E race being the Mexico City E-Prix, set to take place on January 10th at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City, Mexico. And meanwhile, not long after that, if you're subscribed to Flow Sports, good Lord, you have more money than me. But second of all, the Chili Bowl Nationals are coming up here January 12th and 17th. And that's always a fantastic event that I look forward to every January. And it doesn't end there, because later on in January, we will have the Rolex 24 at Daytona kicking off the official, I call that the official start to the racing season whenever we have the Rolex 24 for the new year. So lots to look forward to. And again, I want to say thank you all to everybody who watched the Racing Report this year. We really appreciate it. This was our first year ever doing the Racing Report from January to December. We started about mid-year last year, around August, September-ish with the Racing Report. So we finished out the racing season, but now we have done an entire season, and I want to thank every single one of you for tuning in each week to an episode of the Racing Report, whether you are watching it on WTHR Plus, on one of Tegna's other streaming platforms, on YouTube, however you are watching us. I want to say thank you again, and I really do hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. I hope that it's great. I hope that you have nothing but happiness brought to you in this new year as well. And I just want to say thank you again from the bottom of my heart to all of our viewers this year. We will be back, though, with any news and notes and updates that happen after the holidays. And then don't forget, we're also coming back with best of episodes coming up to get you through until we get to the Rolex 24 coming up here at the end of January. So for WTHR Plus, for everybody involved in the motorsports community, I want to say thank you again. And this has been the Racing Report for 2025. Stay tuned for 2026.